I tested 4 different AI clipping tools to see which one is best. And here I'm focused on only one thing. How good are these clips? So in order to do that, I tested all 4 of these tools across 2 different types of videos. 1, a tutorial video, and 2, a listicle type of video. One video was mine and the other one was made by Alex Hormozi himself. So let's take a look at which one was the best. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Matt Paiva. I build AI solutions for businesses, especially on the sales and marketing side of things. And when I thought about this use case of clipping long form videos into short form videos, I knew the AI could be powerful here. So that's why I started looking at a few different platforms that do this for us, and I landed on 4 platforms for us to evaluate in this video. And these platforms are Opus Clip, Klap, Vizard, and quso. So let's start off with the video 7 ways to get customers for free, and let's start by taking a look at Opus Clips. Now, I've covered this platform before, so I've used their free trial, but even with the free trial, you get 100 minutes to generate viral clips every single month for free. So that's what we use over here to generate our clips. And after a couple of minutes, Opus Clip will actually send you a notification saying that your clips are ready. And here I had 26 different clips to use. And right off the bat, I can tell that some clips are very short, like these 18-second range ones, and some of them are a bit longer. Now here, I don't think it matters much how long the clip is, as long as it contains the 3 elements of a specific type of content. If you have a hook, a retention, and a reward element, you have a full piece of content. Now, in general, it's very hard to hit those 3 different things, especially when you're clipping with short clips like this one. But let's see how it performs with short clips. Now, in general, after reviewing these clips generated by Opus Clips, I can say 2 different things. Sometimes the short clips lack a little bit of context. It's dependent on understanding what is that strategy that Alex Hormozi is talking about in order for it to make sense. For example, if we get this clip over here that's 19 seconds long and it's about getting paid to get leads, this is about a gift card strategy. But we don't know that because as soon as this clip starts rolling, when you see it on your For You page on TikTok or on Instagram, the first thing that you'll hear is this.
When they make the purchase, you say, who do you want me to make this gift card out to? And guess what happens there? By making the gift card out to somebody, you also capture the lead. And so you get 2 referral leads.
So you see how like this is context dependent. Just these first 9 seconds, that's half of the video that we're gonna watch, is already context dependent on like, why are we talking about gift cards? Why is this important? Why should I care? There's a lot of questions that get raised. And this is something really common when you're doing AI clipping of long form video into short form video. Now, one of the things Opus Clips tries to do in order to fix that problem is that they include this AI hook option over here that you can use with the Pro tool. Now, I'm not paying for the Pro right now, but this is one of the options that you can do. Another thing that you guys might have noticed that I think Opus Clips does really, really well in comparison to the other platforms is this face tracking. So it follows along exactly where Alex's face is, and especially when it changes from like this angle to this angle, when you're getting Alex's side profile, it's still following where his face is. So just pay attention here, how when it switches, it's still following along with his face.
By making the gift card out to somebody, you also capture the lead.
You see this little movement in the camera just to keep his face centralized. That is all done automatically by Opus Clip itself, and that's something that I've noticed doesn't happen in other platforms. So final thoughts on Opus Clips for listicle videos. I think it does really well the tracking of the face. I also think it gives you a lot of options. So even if the first few ones are not as good, you have 26 options to choose from, and that's really good. Now, the thing that I didn't like the most is that even though it gives you a lot of options, a lot of them are context dependent, and you need the full context of the video to understand what that person is talking about. Now, that is a consequence of AI clipping, so I'm not going to put the blame in Opus Clip, but I know that one of these other platforms actually did a much better job at it. Vizard AI is a platform that does a great job when it comes to turning long form videos into viral short form clips, especially when it comes to listicle videos like this one that we're going over for Alex Hormozi. And I think what they do best is actually understand the context of that clip and clip exactly what you need. So contrary to Opus Clips, where we had a bunch of different clips coming in, a lot of them didn't have the hook, retain, reward elements that we needed for that piece of content to be complete. Now, I think Vizard did a really good job at this. So a great example of how Vizard is encompassing the whole context of the clip in the clip itself is this clip over here that's only 22 seconds long and actually talks about everything that we need to know about that clip, especially if we focus on the first 3 seconds.
If you have, let's say, a recurring membership business that you have 10% monthly churn.
So within the first 3 seconds, Alex says, if you have, let's say, a recurring membership business that has 10% churn, well, that's already addressing the target audience that he wants to talk to. So if I'm a business owner with this type of business and I'm just scrolling on TikTok, this will definitely catch my eye. And I might listen to the other 20 seconds of this video in order to understand what the point is that Alex is trying to make. And here, similarly to Opus Clips, Vizard also has 25 different clips, which is just one less than the other platform had. But in comparison to Opus Clips, clips, these clips actually feel complete. They don't feel like they're incomplete or you're just listening to half of a thought. These clips actually feel that they're comprising a full thought. Not all of them, but in comparison to Opus clips, I feel like this one is doing a better job. So Vizard AI does a little bit of a better job in comparison to Opus clips when it comes to listicle types of videos. Now, the third platform that I'm looking at is Klap, and obviously Klap has the same type of promise, but the key difference with Klap is not only you get a few less clips, but all of these clips are longer. So in comparison to Opus clips and Vizard AI, these clips have like 2 minutes of length. So the shortest clip that I could find from Klap is this clip over here called Transforming Discounts into Value, and it's 1 minute and 4 seconds. And by watching the clip, I can tell that this clip could be split into 2 parts and actually gotten like a clip that's about 28, 27 seconds long that completes a full thought. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about by providing this example over here.
Now, the second way that you can do this is that instead of offering the discount, you can offer more service that's an equivalent amount. And the reason you do that is because, let's say I charge $200 for my thing and it actually costs me $40 to deliver. If someone says, hey, can I get a $200 discount? I say, I'll do you one better. I'll give you $400 of service for free if you send me the person. Now, the $400 of service to me only cost me 80 bucks, but the perceived value of the $400 of service actually makes it even a bigger, quote, discount for them to get the thing and send me the traffic. And
so here we can cut, for example, the first few words over here from. Now the second way that you can do this is that, and then you cut this first portion and the clip starts with, instead of offering the discount, you can offer more service that's an equivalent amount. Now that's already a better hook than saying, now the second way you can do this, because what are we talking about? What is the second way? Unless you put it on the screen, it's very hard for someone to understand what we're talking about unless they already know what the context of that video is. And at the end here, we could have cut the video around this mark over here when he finishes that thought, because it wraps up that whole thought of like, give $400 worth of service and it actually costs you 80. So you're not actually giving a $200 discount, but you're also getting a referral in addition to that. And by the way, you can actually crop those videos out by just opening the AI editor, which all of these platforms have a different version of. But here I'm trying to look for the platform that gives you the best first draft possible, so you don't have to have a lot of work on your side and you just pay money to have the best result possible, so you have minimum time editing these clips and more time actually doing the long form content. Now, one positive point that I have to mention that I think Klap does it best is the virality score. Actually, the virality score here feels like the most accurate one that I can think of in comparison to these other platforms. If you go to other platforms, they're going to give you 10s out of 10s, 9 out of 10s, and realistically, when you're dealing with AI generated clips, it's very hard for you to get something that's a 10 out of 10 that's going to go completely viral on these other social platforms, because these platforms have their own culture. And here you're trying to import the culture from YouTube, from a long form video into a short form video. So it's really hard to replicate. Last but not least, we have quso.ai. I still don't know if I'm saying the name of this platform right, but they have, aside from AI clips, they have a lot of different things that you can do with AI here and video. But here, like I said before in the beginning of the video, we are focusing on the AI clips. Now, when we open the project here in Quso, we can see that the amount of shorts that we got was 10 different shorts for this specific video, which is the lowest amount of shorts that we got out of all of the 4 platforms. And honestly, when I saw these clips, I had high hopes because I saw that these clips were all around 1 minute range, which is my preferred time for shorts. But when I started watching them, I realized that it didn't comprise the full thought that Alex was trying to convey. And also it didn't have very good tracking when it comes to the face of Alex, especially when it changes from one camera angle to the other camera angle. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you guys over here. So for example, this clip that we're looking at over here is not a bad clip. It does contain like a full thought from Alex, but as soon as the camera angle changes, Quso doesn't do the job that Opus clips was doing really well of tracking his face from one camera to the other. And even though this is a decent clip when it comes to the completeness of the clip, is not the best, and it's still giving us a 99 score out of 100 here, which I personally don't agree with. So one thing that I liked about Quso is the length of the clips, which stands around 1 minute or 45 seconds, and I think that's like an ideal length for shorts. And the things that I didn't like I said before, are the tracking of the face. I don't think it does a good job, especially when there's a second camera in play, and also the completeness of the thought. Even though the length is good, the length of the short is good, sometimes you're getting half of a thought or one thought and a half instead of having one complete thought within those 45 seconds to 1 minute. So let's rank these 4 tools for listicle types of videos. I'm going to put Quso at the very bottom of the list over here because it only had 10 different clips, and these clips were not that great, even though the length was pretty good. So in third place, I'm going to put Klap because it had 14 videos in comparison to the 10 created by Quso, but these videos were way too long and I I feel like they encompassed too much and they were just way too long for short form. Although here I would say that it's super easy to go into Klap and actually just chop this really long video that's like 2 minutes long to 2 1-minute videos. But here it just depends on what type of changes that you want to make. If you want to make changes regarding the actual framing of someone's face or the length of the clip. Now in second place, I'm going to put Opus clip because it had really good tracking and it had 26 clips to choose from. Now, even though not all clips contained a full thought, you have a lot of them to choose from, and actually the tracking of the face was really good. But in comparison to the first tool, which is Vizard AI, I think Opus clips just didn't contain the full thought. Meanwhile, Vizard AI actually did encompass the full thought of an entire clip and did a pretty good job when it came to tracking. Now, since both of these platforms had around 25 clips, I think that I'm going to give the edge here for Vizard AI because of the completeness of the thought in each clip. Now let's move on to the other type of videos that I want these platforms to clip, which are tutorial videos. And for this video, I'm picking this one over here from my channel, which is a video about how I automated receipt tracking and saved 100+ hours for a team. Now the structure of this video is very different because for most of the video you have this type of setup over here where you have me and the screen recording, and I want to be able to show both of these things on the clip itself. And I also want to be able to complete a full thought in a specific clip. So let's see which platform did the best job over here. So only fair that we start with the platform that won in the previous category, which is Vizard AI, and let's take a look at the clips that Vizard AI made. Like before, Vizard created 25 clips based on this video, and as we can see, Vizard did an effort to create clips that have the split screen set up. So here at the bottom we have my face, which is just a zoomed in version of the screen recording, and then at the top we have this blurred background with the screen recording itself. Now it does look a little bit busy, but to be honest, to clip these types of videos is really hard. That's why I wanted to try this, because I've tried before with other platforms and I wasn't too successful. And overall, I was pleased with Vizard AI. One of the things that I didn't love about Vizard is the length of the clips. Most of the clips were around 30 seconds or less. And even though they did a decent job at trying to create the split screen, it doesn't look that great. And like, honestly, I'm not even going to blame the platform over here, because clipping these types of videos that are tutorial videos, that are these loom style videos where you have a bubble with someone's face and then the rest is just the screen, are really hard to resize and put in perspective. There was only one of the clips that I was really happy with, and it was clip number 7 over here. It was 1 minute and 10 seconds long, and actually I did like some minor changes just to keep the screen split properly the way I wanted. It still doesn't look great, but like I said before, I'm not going to blame the platform for this. And actually this clip contains a full thought that I was trying to convey in the long form video of this. So I did like this one clip out of the 25. Opus clips also did a really good job when it comes to clipping long form videos that are tutorial videos, especially when it comes to the resizing part. I think that the quality wise for the resizing actually looks a little bit better in comparison to Vizard, and it doesn't have the blurry background like Vizard did. So if I go over here, for example, and I click in any of the other videos, we can see that we have these portions over here that are blurred backgrounds over here, and the actual screen recording here. But in Opus, we can see that there's a zoom in the screen, and it doesn't do the duplicate of my face. So I like that from Opus. Now what I don't love about Opus clips here was the clip length. All of them are around 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and I didn't feel like they encompassed the full thought, which to me was the most frustrating part. And in comparison to Vizard, this one only had 21 clips. Now I think Opus clips dynamically clips the video depending on how long that video is. The video from Alex Ramosi was 21 minutes long, and this video here is 19 minutes long. So it makes sense that the previous video had 26 clips and this one only has 21. Now one of the clips that I liked the most by Opus clips was the demo clip, because there's always a demo in my videos where I show how the automation works, and here it did a good job at identifying what that clip was, but also putting my face, when it's only my face on the clip, putting it exactly centralized, and when I'm sharing the screen with the actual screen, to doing the split screen. So it did that automatically, and I think that was a really good job. This was also the longest clip that Opus clips identified, and it was 2 minutes and 21 seconds. Now onto our third platform, we can go over to Klap, and Klap only created 9 short form videos, which was something a little bit surprising. And actually all of the short form videos created by Klap had this formatting over here, which pretty much doesn't do anything with the resizing portion of that video. Now, one thing Klap did well was the length of the clips. They were all over a minute long, which is something that seems to be from the platform itself. All the clips from Klap are a little bit longer, and it does encompass the full thought that I'm trying to convey in the long form video. Now here, like I said before, these videos might not perform as well in short form because they have this portion over here that's just not edited for short form. Now, part of why that disappointed me a little bit is because Klap has this tool over here that transforms the video into a different type of layout, and you can have this split screen layout over here. So like this, for example, would have been a much better reframing of the video itself, showing either this portion of the clip or this portion of the clip, and then just a bubble of me speaking at the bottom. This is like a much better reframe, and I thought that the system would pick it up on its own, and it didn't, which was kind of disappointing for me. Now, obviously, there's a couple different changes that I would need to make, like the changes on where the captions are, so it's not covering my face, and exactly where this part of the screen is covering, so it's showing exactly what I'm talking about on the screen. But overall, I like the clip length. I didn't like the resizing of the clip. Now, moving on to Quso also did not do a great job. It only provided me with 9 short form clips, which I thought was really low. Even though it was the same amount of clips that Klap gave me, it just didn't perform as well as I expected. And also, in comparison to the previous use case that we looked for Alex Ramos's clips, these clips are much shorter. They're around 30 seconds long. And honestly, I think only one of the videos were one of the clips was over 1 minute, and it was 1 minute and 30 seconds. Now, the thing that it did with these clips is that it had horrible resizing as well. Now, not even did it not attempt to include two parts of that portion, or at least a split screen, but it just kept my face. It just did its best job at keeping my face. But obviously, like looking at this clip, it doesn't include any other piece of information. And the most important part of this is to actually show what's happening on the screen, not what's happening on my face. Like you guys can see right now on the screen, even when it moves back to my face, it doesn't track along. It doesn't follow along with the tracking. So moving on to our top 4 AI clipping tools for tutorial videos, I will put quso.ai at the bottom again because the clip length wasn't there, and also the resizing of my face just wasn't there as well. It was trying to do the face tracking, but as soon as it changed from the full screen like you're seeing right now to a split screen when I'm sharing the screen with the viewers, it just didn't follow that along, and it did it really poorly. Now, not only the video length, like I mentioned before, was bad, but also the thought that was encompassed in that length was not complete, like 100% of the times. I don't think there was a single thought that was fully formed in any of these clips. Now, in third place, I'm going to include Vizard over here because even though it produced 25 clips, I don't think I would have used any of them but one. And one thing in comparison to Opus clips, which I think these two platforms are relatively similar, is that in the resizing portion, like you guys can see on the screen right now, it had these blurry portions at the bottom and at the top. And I generally prefer having all of the screen filled out whenever I'm doing these short form videos. Now, it can look a little bit chaotic. This is kind of just a stylistic preference that I would go with Opus in this scenario, which is exactly our second place in this list. Now, I think Opus Clips did a little bit of a better job in comparison to Vizard AI, but also it didn't do a great job at doing these clips. As you guys will see, for this entire top 4, none of the platforms actually hit the point where I would say it's like satisfactory or really good for these tutorial types of videos. And in this scenario, Opus Clips created 21 clips, which I thought were okay. I don't know if I would call them satisfactory, but like I said before, what I did like is that they had this approach that the entire screen was covered, and they actually tried to do a good job at doing this split screen, which I liked. But most of them, I think I would use one clip right away, 2 if I'm not mistaken. If I did some editing, I could use 2 out of the 21 clips that were created, which is not a great ratio. But like I said before, doing these short form clips or these AI generated clips from tutorial videos is just really hard. So I'll just give points for effort over here for everyone. And number 1, the platform that I liked the most was actually Klap. Even though it gave me only 9 videos, and even though these videos are long, I feel like for this type of use case, these videos need to be long. In order for you to do a tutorial video teaching someone to do something, you need to have a complete thought, and you need at least a minute to fulfill that thought. Doing something like that in less than 45 seconds, I think it's pushing way too hard. Now, one of the things that I didn't like about Klap is the resizing that they did from horizontal to vertical. Like you guys can see over here, it just kept it like this. Meanwhile, they could have used the tools that they have and the software that they have developed to create something that looked like this, which I think looks much better. I think the one thing that annoyed me the most about Klap was that they had the possibility of doing this and that they didn't do it. So that's my beef with Klap as of right now. But I am placing it at first because the clip lengths and the completeness of the clip was really good, not to mention the virality score that I thought was really accurate. So in conclusion, if you make listicle types of videos like 7 best ways of doing blank, the best types of AI clipping tools are going to be Vizard AI and Opus clips because they give you a lot of range to work with. And Vizard AI has a little bit of an edge because I think that the thought completeness of the clips that it generates is a little bit better on top of Opus clips. Now, if you do tutorial types of videos like I usually do in this channel where I teach someone how to do something, it is very hard to get any good clips using these AI clip generating tools. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that. One of the main ones is the way you record the screen when you are doing these types of clips. You usually just have the bottom over here with the person's face and then the rest of the screen with the screen recording, and that makes it really complicated for these AI clipping tools to work properly. Another problem is that when you're teaching something, you need time to actually go through the process of how to start, what to do, and then how to end that process. And in order to do that, you just need longer clips, which is not the specialty of TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, or any of these other platforms. So I hope you got value out of this review. Just think about the use cases that you want to use when you're turning long form videos into short form clips. Some use cases are just not useful, like these ones of tutorials, but some other ones are really good, like listicle ones. And if you want help implementing AI into your sales and marketing, just please don't hesitate to reach out. There is a link down in the description below where you can book a call with me directly. And there's also another link with all of my AI automation templates that you can grab completely for free to start implementing AI in your business today. So I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.